Yo, Cubic here. I'm assuming if you clicked on this video, you must be a weeb or you must be looking for some fancy new distortion or saturation to add to your production arsenal. Well, have I got the plugin for you. Today, we're taking a look at a brand new plugin that you may or may not have heard of already. That's basically Sausage Fattener for weebs, but better. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at this sick ass new distortion plugin. Hope you enjoy. All right, guys, so we are here in Ableton. I have a few different examples set up for you to debut this crazy new plugin that's basically Sausage Fattener for weebs. Here is the plugin. It is called Nani by WX Audio. I have the safe for work version turned on because, as you'll see in a minute, this plugin's a bit inappropriate if you're at work or you have parents around or you're making a YouTube video. So I'm gonna turn that on for now. If you want to see what this plugin looks like when not safe for work version is turned on, definitely go check out the plugin. I'll have all the info down below. It's about $20. Full disclosure, I was given the plugin for free since I wanted to check it out and do a bit of a review. I've never done a review on any plugins on this channel, but yeah, this plugin, like I said, is basically Sausage Fattener for weebs, but it's a bit better. Now, this distortion plugin looks great, obviously, and it has the fun kind of Sausage Fattener-esque animation to it, but this is actually a practical distortion plugin beyond that, and I've actually found myself really enjoying using this plugin on stuff. So your mind can be put at ease that it's not just a good looking plugin, but it's kind of a waste of money beyond that. It's actually useful, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some different fun ways that I've found to best use this plugin in your music. So first off, before we get into those ways, so starting at the top here, you got an undo and a redo button. Then you also have a help button, which pretty much shows you everything you need to know. There's not some long ass manual you have to go through. You can just open it up right here. It shows what the controls do. So the hentai knob, aka the drive knob, the color knob. This is a bunch of scientific stuff, but pretty much it changes the character of the distortion. And then you have the high cut knob, which if you've used distortion before, it's basically just a low pass filter that you can use to kind of shave off some of the high end sharpness that might be caused by the distortion. Then you got a low cut knob down here. These are the two knobs. Low cut knob basically does the same thing, except it cuts out the low end with a high pass filter. So maybe you're distorting something with a sub and it's making the sub clip. You don't want that, you low cut it. Then you have a mix knob, obviously, because mix knob, dry wet knob, same thing, you're used to that most likely. And then an output volume, which does have an auto button that will set the output to adjust according to the drive knob. So basically, the higher you push the drive, it kind of compensates for that. Then one of the interesting parts of this that you don't see in something such as Sausage Fattener, where it's these like two knobs sort of deals, is there's different modes of distortion, and they're both subtle and noticeable depending on what you're distorting. This tells you what the different types are. As you can see, the purple one is just your basic saturation. Orange one is warm distortion. Also, I would just consider it more colorful saturation based on my experience. Then blue knob is sharp distortion. Green knob is funky distortion. Pink knob is destructive distortion. Now, these are all a bit broad terms. It's more of a thing. You just test it out on whatever you're distorting, figure out which one you like the most. The Baka button, basically, when you push this knob, it basically puts whatever mode you're on, whether purple, orange, blue, green, or pink, whatever mode you're on, it basically puts the distortion in the beast mode. And so it's just more intense distortion. You'll see how it works on stuff as I go through the different examples. And then obviously one of the most fun features of the distortion is the animation when you turn up the drive, which again, if you want to see for yourself, you're gonna have to cop the plugin. And I personally think it's worth it. $20. If you have the money, go get it. But if you're not sold on it yet, let me go through some examples. So obviously, if you're coming here for the first time, definitely make sure to like the video. If you enjoy this, I'm going to be doing more plugin reviews in the future. But if you're not familiar with my content, I mostly focus on bass music in the electronic dance music world. So if you're someone who makes hip hop, someone who makes pop, acoustic, whatever, I'm sure this plugin will be useful to you. And even through these examples, you might find its usefulness. But these examples are more geared towards people making dubstep and stuff like that. So the first example here shows off some of the really clean and spicy grittiness that this plugin can apply to sound. So ignore this EQ. This is just fixing a little bit of mid-side issues with this original sample. This is a Christian sample. I don't know where I got it from, but basically here's the sample without any distortion. So obviously already pretty distorted on its own, but we're gonna up the ante with Nani. Let's listen to it with Nani turned on. Ooh. It just adds that extra texture and grit that can really make the sound stand out a bit more. And so for this, I have it on the pink setting, as well as I have that red button that I was telling you basically turns the distortion into beast mode. And we'll listen to it with the red plugin on and off. Off, it's decent, but with it on, oh, it's got that like kind of more dull grit. If we turn the drive up, it might get a bit obnoxious. Turn it down, it's kind of boring. And so that's something that's really cool about this distortion, is that you can really notice a lot of difference based on just small little incremental knob turns. So because it's just two main knobs plus these modes, it's extremely intuitive in the way that you can just really quickly go through all the different variations and effects that this distortion can have on your sound, and it's just so easy to quickly tune it to your liking. This is what I found to be my favorite for this sound, and I think it turns out pretty great. It's so little effort for such a big impact on a sound. I mean, that from this, it's so thin and not nearly as beefy as when you turn on the Nani. Alright, so another example for any of you guys who make hip hop or mess with 808s in your songs. So I have these 808 samples from a pack that I'm not going to say because I'm not trying to shit on their pack, but I think these 808s are kind of shitty. It's just not the type of 808 that I would use in my music, but you throw Nani on there. Ooh, it completely changes like the punch and impact of the 808s, as well as the tone, and it even eliminates some like raspiness in the 808s. It's so weird, but this is just on the strictly saturation mode, which I find to work really nice on a lot of subs. Saturation mode is just the purple one, and then I also have the red button clicked in. Here's without the red button, still pretty pleasant, but with it, it just saturates it a little more, gives it a kind of boominess. If I turn the drive up, then it's kind of buzzy, and the tone is affected by the color. But yeah, I'm trying to keep this video short, so I'm not gonna show it on a bunch more 808s, but this plugin is probably used and applied best on 808s and subs in my opinion, because each mode has such a great effect on how the 808 sounds. Like each mode completely changes your 808, and you can get so many cool variations from literally one 808 sample using this distortion. And it's just so rare for me to find such a simple and intuitive distortion that has so much variety in the results. Usually I'd go to something like Trash 2, which has almost too many options where you can get lost, where this has, it's just all summed up with just two knobs and 5 different buttons to click, and it's as simple as that. Next, I'm going to show you a more subtle way of just saturating some of your samples and sounds. So this is this sound without Nani. Now, it sounds pretty great, don't get me wrong, it's extremely full, saturated, and bright, but with Nani, it just adds the most subtle amount of warmth and subtle distortion. The way I have it set, before I show you, I low passed the sub because I didn't want the sub to clip, and then I brought the mix down so we still have the sub, it's not taking away the sub too much. And then basically what's happening is just the mids of this sound are getting slightly crunched and clipped a little bit, and it just adds this warmth to the whole sound and just fills it up a little bit more. So here's again without, and then here's with. And so, like I said, extremely subtle, but there's just the slightest amount of energy and brightness being added. So not everything that you throw Nani on has to be some crazy transformation. You can use it just strictly as saturation to make things brighter. And I really enjoy how it sounds. Next, we've got, this is going to be the final example that I show you. Basically, I took just an operator sine wave. So yeah, just a typical operator sine wave, nothing special, pretty insignificant sounding, but you throw Nani on, like I barely need any other processing on this sub. It just perfectly saturates it and beefs it up. We can beef it up even more if we want. Mess with the color. But right there, it gives it that girth that you want out of a sub, especially for dubstep. You can mess with more tones. That just turns it into something different altogether. But for this example, I just wanted to keep it on the saturation because the saturation in this plugin is just so clean and warm in the exact way that I like it. Here we have a triangle wave. Basic triangle wave, you know, a little bit boring. Throw on Nani. So same thing, just really nice saturation in this plugin. Super simple. You put it on the purple mode, bring up the hentai color till it's perfect, exactly where you want it. And then to top things off, just another example of how you can also drastically change the impact of a sound. Here's just another triangle wave. But then I throw on an erosion, which is just adding some wide noise to the top of the subs. Almost unnoticeable though, when I throw it on there. But then I throw on Nani, and so Nani's distorting the noise into the sub, and listen to what happens. It's also adding like new harmonics to the triangle. And look how simple that is. It's literally just erosion and Nani, nothing else. And it gives that drastic of a change. Listen to how it sounds before that. So boring and just insignificant. So yeah, this is the Nani Distortion plugin. I got lucky and just found a random video about this on the internet. Saw the plugin, I was like, that looks fun. Maybe I can do a review on it. I started using it before I did the review, and I've been throwing it on everything. It honestly is just the way I described it. Sausage fattener for weebs, but better, because it's literally something that you can use in so many different scenarios. Probably even throw it on your master, who knows? I haven't tried that yet, but you can use it in so many different scenarios. But there's like all these different modes that drastically change it, and it's just not too many controls, not too little controls. $20, probably one of the best plugins in that range in terms of something that I'm going to use a lot and not just forget about, and it's not just like a one-time gimmick, you know? And so yeah, that's a big reason why I wanted to make this video. Definitely go check it out if you have the money. 20 bucks, really cheap for a plugin, especially one that it's just such quality saturation and distortion. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do more plugin reviews. I've got one more plugin review coming for you within the next week of another really cool plugin that I found that I think might be useful to a lot of you guys. And if you already have the Nani plugin, let me know some cool ways you use it down below in the comments. And as always, make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want more content like this, and I will see you in the next video. My name's Cubic, and I'm out.